Look at that face. He shouldn't be so smug. Yep, I'm going to play Bubsy 3D. Going to do a little video for you. So that cost £15 at one point. I got it for £2. So it's a bit of a bargain. Go on then, let's pop this in and give it a bit of a go. Should I turn the voice off? No, actually. No, let's keep it on. I don't think Bubsy says anything funny in this game, but for the sake of giving you the full experience, I'll keep the voice on. One player. So there is actually a two-player mode. I wonder how that works. Oh, I guess it was loading the loading screen. Here we are. A full 3D platformer. Yeah, actually Bubsy looks alright. Even though you only get to see him from behind, of course. But he is the most detailed thing on screen by an absolute mile.
So, you wanna be a video game star? For starters, grab all the items you see. There's plenty of them in each level. And if you get enough of them, you'll be in for some surprises.
So yeah, you can see there that the game has what is called tank controls. Which is something that a lot of early 3D platformers had. And it's not really such a bad thing generally, but there is a right way of doing it and a wrong way of doing it. And you've got a nice little sidestep and crouch. Well, I say nice, but I think they are completely pointless.
Oh, this is my favorite part! Hold the square button when you walk up to an atom! Go ahead, try it, but don't hold it too long!
You get the story in a intro FMV thing, which is just a kind of weird press conference with the Woolies, the bad guys in the game. But basically, they're fed up with Bubsy stopping them from stealing all the wool, so they try to kidnap him, and the spaceship that he's in crash lands on their planet, and that goes some way to explain why he's on an alien looking world with triangular mountains and floating arrows. And actually this looks, it doesn't even look like a PlayStation game really, does it? I think the closest thing I can think of right now is the bonus levels from Knuckles Chaotix, only not anywhere near as fun. So you can grab hold of these collectibles and actually use them as bullets, but you can't hold on to them for too long. You know, I'm not one of those sorts of people that plays a game just to shit on it. I do try to get some proper perspective on a game. And playing it does make me think that it's almost as though they didn't really know what they were going for. But they went ahead anyway, and they made a game, and they finished it, and it works as intended. But all of the decisions that they made, the controls and the gimmicks and the music and everything like that, it was all just bad decisions. So yeah, lots of bad decisions. And then they probably took one look at Super Mario 64 and thought, oh shit, what have we done? Because you can see the game, it functions okay, it's not buggy, it runs pretty smoothly, and they've got some nice big open levels, and everything works fine. It's just that the game's not very fun to play. Bubsy seems to have lost a bit of his sass from the earlier games, where when he speaks to you he's pretty much just sort of narrating what's going on. I do quite like the big open areas. It's kind of like what Spyro the Dragon ended up being, only the levels are so weird and abstract. I mean, it doesn't look bad, it's just that it's such a weird theme. Right, so that's the first level over and done with. I do remember renting the first Bubsy game, and I didn't think it was all that great, but it was, you know, one of those games that was inevitably going to be compared to Sonic the Hedgehog, and it wasn't the best, but it was all right. I think the major flaw was that you could move really fast, but you could die in one hit, and there was just all this weird random stuff that can kill you, like cars and manhole covers and stuff. But this game is so weird. Now this level here is even bigger and more open than the first level, and I must admit, eventually I do just get lost. You know, and you might think that it's quite nice that these levels are so big, because some PlayStation games do struggle to render big open areas, but even that kind of works against the game, because you've got all these enemies dotted around, and you've got all these collectibles dotted around sort of haphazardly, and they're not really much of a danger because you can just walk past them. Well, that hurt me. I didn't realise that was going to hurt me. Got these two guys here and you can just walk past. But then when you do walk past, what is there? There's nothing. There is a little bit of fog in the distance. I think it must have been a major wake-up call for the people that developed this when they first saw Super Mario 64. I think this game was released after Super Mario 64, but it was in production at the same time, so they must have seen it at some point and thought, oh my god. But I guess they didn't have a chance to start again from scratch, which they might have needed to do. And there are other games that use tank controls. I mean, there's Croc, which I might do a video of actually. I'd have that on the Saturn and the PlayStation, and that's a pretty fun platformer. It's another game that's not really amazing, but it's better than this. It's another game that's got tank controls, but the trouble with this game is the turning is far too slow, the running is too slow, the acceleration is too slow, and it doesn't feel good. And every time you jump, the camera kind of twists so you can see the floor, which is something I think they copied from Jumping Flash. Yeah, a lot of people shit on this game. I think you do have to sort of judge it by the time. For every Crash Bandicoot and Tomb Raider, there has to be an Earthworm Jim 3D or Bubsy 3D. You know, sometimes people just make bad decisions. Bubsy's model looks alright though. I mean, it doesn't look like a PlayStation game, does it? It's a very... I said it looks like Knuckles Chaotix, but it does look like one of those early 3D games that doesn't have textures, and you can see the flat edges. Kind of looks like an early 3D mini golf game. Yeah, there really isn't any focus, and I just completely give up at this point. Look at his face. Why does he look so worried?